because not only does she have 3 children who are deaf, her husband died in a biking accident some 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And that didn't discourage, that didn't destroy her spirit. She's still as strong as ever. In fact, she started her own foundation, an NGO, called Hands and Voices Kenya. Hands and Voices, because I tell you, deaf people are treated like 3rd or 4th class citizens. She's here with her 2 kids, Jasmine Muchilwa and Georgie Muchilwa. Folks, thanks so much for coming to Hot 96.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you, Jackie. My God, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Yours is, they say God doesn't give you more than you can handle.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, you have a handful here.
I have struggled. I have struggled with him. I have struggled with him.
Did you ever want to give up at some point? Saying, why me? Huh? Why me?
After the loss of Matt, I almost did. When it happened with Jersey, we were at that place where you say you don't question God, you can only believe that He'll reveal Himself, and He gives no gift that adds sorrow. So that's our journey, how it started in 2008, when Jasmine was 2 years. I noticed that she was a very quiet child, and my mom asked me, where do you expect this girl to be able to be chatty and talking much when she doesn't have peers? So I enrolled her in a kindergarten when she was just 2 in playgroup. And in the first week on a Friday, I remember the call from the teacher. And it was a very disturbing call. And they said, we had PE today. And as we kept on blowing the whistle, we think your daughter has a hearing problem because she did not seem to hear. She kept on running and running. And we had to catch up with her. And they realized, they thought she must be deaf. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is a 2-year-old who, I think Jazzy had learned to live pretty early. Get me the remote. It's 2 years.
Wow.
We all meet our milestones at different times.
Yes.
We are told boys tend to speak a bit later. So I was not worried. So very disturbed night, and it was a Saturday, I couldn't wait. I told the father he was going to go for a ride, and I was like, there's something that I need to tell you. Yesterday I got a very disturbing call. And that evening I tried, on telly, Jazzy, I was putting the volume loud, and it really hit me. There is an issue because no matter how loud the volume was,
there's no reaction.
There was no reaction.
Yeah.
Took her to the microwave, it's beeping. But I hadn't noticed because she had no more milestones, did not seem to have any disability.
Wow.
And we went to the pediatrician and started a very difficult journey where on Monday we were now from a pediatrician where you think you've had a normal child with normal milestones. You're told of someone called an audiologist, that your child needs to see an audiologist. That's an ENT specialist. And she was put through a test, and that afternoon we were given very horrific, couldn't believe. Now the new title she was being referred to, severe to profoundly deaf. And you're wondering, how did this happen? When?
How did the father react and respond?
It's the first time that I ever saw my man cry. They had an attachment, they had a bond. Because actually, Daddy cut your cord when you were born. But he picked up himself. And I think it was a moment when we were all struggling that week. But thank God for internet. He was on the net. We were told to get our hearing aids. That time a piece was going for 80,000 shillings. Just
One piece.
One piece.
The one we see old people having it.
And just those are some of the things that we take offense because you think old people.
Yes.
And we are talking about deafness being one of the disabilities that technology has come to bridge.
Yes.
We are crying out for early screening, early intervention, proper amplification, schooling, mainstream schooling. They're in mainstream schooling, they're not in a deaf school. And parental guidance, which is so important to be able to go through this journey.
And yet, Jackie, people don't even pay them attention.
No.
They don't care almost. They say, go learn and to sign or whatever.
Yes.
That's what we say.
That is the choice, and that's what you called it. It's actually a support group, not an NGO. I felt so alone at that point in time. And I went back to the doctor and I was like, are there other moms like me? Because of course, this thing that, as you guys just have heard, it wheezes, it makes that funny sound. People looking at her, but we had to get past the stigma because we were told this gadget is going to help her a bit. And through speech therapy, she started picking up on a few words. And I went back and was told, patient privacy, we can't give you the numbers. So I did some small cards. I'm a mom, I'm looking out for other. So I started receiving phone calls from different moms. So your child is also deaf. How are you going about it?
Yeah.
And when the number got to 15, Matt and I decided to host. And that Saturday afternoon, we received 15 parents at home. But what I picked out from the first two guests who came, I was like, is your child deaf? But where's the hearing aid? So someone picks it up from the handbag. Oh, the stigma, it's still taboo. My in-laws have an issue with this. We can't be wearing this thing. These things are for the old.
Yes.
They can't work.
Yeah, good Lord.
And I was like, it's out on the net, it's out in the developing countries. These things, we are being guided that they do work, and the deaf can be able to be taught to listen and speak. And that's what, Jeff, you guys are seeing with the children. Through speech therapy, they start first by learning sounds. K, a, t, then we blend, cut. And from words, we make sentences. And from sentences, we make paragraphs, and vocabulary is built. So it's over time.
And they can be in a class with what you call normal kids and they're fine.
Yes, and that is what we're advocating for, because if you put the deaf and the deaf alone, Jazzy, are you in a mainstream school or are you in a deaf school?
I'm in a mainstream school.
What grade are you?
8th grade.
By the way, Jasmine is completely deaf.
Yes.
But she's wearing, what do you call these?
Now, these are cochlear implants, which are sort of the after the hearing aid.
Cochlear implants.
Cochlear implants.
And they must be expensive, number one.
Jeff, we normally joke that they drive German cars in. It's 3.5 million for one.
3.5.
God. But then, how is school? I mean, how do they treat you in school, Jasmine?
Sometimes I could be treated a bit differently. But eventually I learned to accept myself that being deaf isn't a curse exactly. It's more like a gift. And because of my story, I've been able to give hope to other people. So I see it more in a more positive view. So even though I'm not going to be accepted by everyone, it's okay, I guess.
And by the way, she's 13 years old. My goodness.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
All right, let's speak to the 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Georgie. How about you? How do you feel? Jackie. There you go.
I feel nervous.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
That's because the professor's here.
Yeah,
The
but
professor's kind of scary, you know that?
Is that a compliment?
Yeah. So are you able to do things that kids your age do, like play soccer or do those things?
Yeah, I signed up for soccer intramurals, and sometimes they treat me different, but I just try. If I try solving it, it doesn't work, I just go talk to my teacher about it.
Yeah. What's your greatest challenge, Jasmine, in school? What's your biggest challenge?
Talking to some people. Because sometimes they talk too quiet, and people easily get frustrated with me since I don't easily hear them sometimes.
Yeah.
So because of this, sometimes more of an introvert.
Right.
But that's okay, I guess, since not everyone in this world is gonna accept you for who you are.
You know what? You have just said something that adults don't even understand.
Yes.
Because they think everybody's gonna love them, and that doesn't work in this world. You know that.
Yeah.
So the ones who love you, and the rest of them, they can. Well, I can't say that on radio, but
that's the
you
truth.
get the picture.
Yeah.
Jackie, how did you manage to get these angels here? How did you do that? Because look at them. They're incredible. We've just talked to them for like 2 minutes, and it's like, my God. I wish I had children like this.
Jeff, it's been... Jazzy, how old are you now?
13.
I've lost myself for 11 years. It's been blood and sweat to get my kids where they are.
Every day.
And that is what I advocate for, parental involvement. You can imagine for me, different tribes, of course, my clan running back to check, and my clan up on arms. Hey, on our side we don't have a deaf person.
Yes.
Matt's side also.
Yeah.
But I had an amazing husband and an amazing father to our children for the time of God. He was my support system, and through that, I was able to pick up myself. And don't get me wrong, there've been hard days. I've gone down, and just to quickly forward that, when we were so scared, and again thinking it can't happen, and you're scared of getting pregnant again, and it did happen. We were blessed with George, and at the age of 2, we started seeing the same signs, and pushing ourselves to go and have that screening done. And another afternoon, Monday dark afternoon, we were given the diagnosis that George is also severe to profoundly deaf. The second time round, it broke me.
I can imagine.
It was hard.
Yeah,
It
and you
was
must have been
hard.
asking questions, you know. Again, I asked you earlier on, why me? Why you?
It was hard, Jeff. It was hard. And I remember at the parking lot at Nairobi Hospital, this time Matt was strong. He told me, "Sweets, we've been through this journey. Now it goes. We're going to start again." But for me, the hard bit was knowing that how hard it was to get Jazzy where she... Talking of the kind neighbor who referred us to you, you know, just an acceptance that they would be glad that their daughter would play with Jazzy as she picked up on her speech, and the number of times speech therapy, and their implants were not done here. Jazzy, at what age did you get your implant?
I got my implants in South Africa.
How old were you, Jazzy?
I was 4.
Do you sleep with those on?
No.
You take them off in the night, huh?
Yeah.
And then back again in the morning. Same with you, George?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, tell
Son,
me,
George.
what do you want to be when you grow up, little man?
Work for the wildlife parks.
Is that right? You like animals?
Yes.
Oh, man. You'll be able to hear a lion walking a mile away, you know that? Are those things?
Yes.
Look at this kid, man. How about you, Jazz? What do you want to be?
I want to be an audiologist or a speech therapist, since I want to help other children who are like me in Kenya and give hope to them, since every child deserves to dream.
Absolutely. And look, and Jackie, obviously you're one of the lucky ones, because all the deaf people I know sign. I didn't even know that these cochlear things existed. I had no clue. Right? Go on.
All the students are wearing cochlear implants. So, Jeff, it's lack of information.
Yes.
It's been... So after the surgery, this is invasive. They have the implant that is implanted, and the magnet chip that you see.
Yeah.
So once it picks, then there's connection.
Right.
So that's why you think some people stop me and ask, is it a Bluetooth or... yeah. After that is now the rehabilitation, which is called mapping. I've had to travel with these kids almost 4 times a year to South Africa, so you can imagine, Jeff.
If someone has a child right now, Jackie, has been certified as deaf, or like yours are severe or whatever, how can they get in touch with you? Because this is very important. Again, you said, information is lacking, or we are the ignorant ones. But if someone wants to get in touch with you right now, how do they do that?
We have our support group. We on social media. We have our website, that's Hands and Voices. We've been trying to create awareness. Through the hospitals, through the pediatricians. Jeff, it doesn't pass a week before I get 2 or 3 moms calling, and we've been referred to you. I've just been given this diagnosis. Where do I go? Where do I start? Yeah. So where we walked in the park in the dark, I can say for George, it's been easier. Now talking about the third Daniel, who is 6, I thought you'd be all over the place. I've learned how to deal, and where do you go for help? And so we are crying out, something can be done about deafness. And even as what the slogan for the group is, what works for your child is what is best. And not everyone is privileged. Matt gave quite a bit. My organization, my employer has been very kind. And now we are getting through NHIF, they're hearing about cochlear implants and they're ready to support. Insurance that are chipping in. So do not sit with your child when you see these signs. Early screening is important. When there's early intervention, something can be done. But we have to understand that, Jeff and Prof, it's what's happening when there's late diagnosis. Nothing. The window period closes in for a child by the around age of 3 to 4. So the brain cannot acclimatize to sound. So after that, what is left is signing. So even us, we are all-round group where we have signers. We have those who are using the hearing aids because that is what they can afford, and those now who have been able to get to where technology is at its highest, cochlear implants. And we are not discriminating anyone. We've started learning sign language with my children because as we are interacting out there, we are realizing, Jeff, as I'd like to sugarcoat it, Prof, the bottom truth is that my children are deaf.
Yeah.
Without their implants, at night, Jeff, when they go to sleep without their implants, they're completely deaf.
Completely deaf. If something happens in the house, I mean, they wouldn't hear it.
They wouldn't hear it.
Yeah.
On that dark day, when they lost their dad. But then they couldn't go on the pool with them. The phone call came through. It was actually DJ Stars. Jackie, where are you at? And the dad was meant to be joining us. Getting them out in the pool, they were not able to hear at that point in time. But as with time now, technology, Jazzy and George, can you swim with your cochlears?
No.
Still, there's still limitations. They can't go through scanners in the
airport.
At the airport, screening machines would wipe off all their maps. They can't do slides because it's static. And life continues to happen. Therefore, I thought God had given me a blue. That dark call that day, that their dad is no more.
Don't worry, Jackie. You're a strong woman. Any way you look at it, you're an incredibly strong woman. But the email address is handsandvoiceskenya2018@gmail.com. Again, handsandvoiceskenya2018 at gmail.com. If you have any issues, if you have any queries, you need to get in touch with Jackie because this is one incredibly super woman. Jasmine, what do you think of your mother, man? I mean, goodness, I have never seen a woman like this in my life.
I think my mom is a very strong and compassionate woman. She has brought me to where I am right now, and she's given me a lot of hope for me and George in the future. And I want to use this opportunity to help more people like me and increase awareness in Africa and in Kenya and in rural areas around the world. Because every person with a disability, whether young or old, deserves to have a chance to live a normal life like every one of us.
Thank you. That's very good. You're a grown-up little lady, you know that?
Yeah.
So mature.
My God. Do you know how long it took me to grow up?
No, you're still growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry.
I'm working hard.
So, little Georgie was asked to write... Does he remember his father?
Yes.
Does he remember? George, do you remember your father?
Get the mic. Yeah.
You remember him?
Georgie, where I'm sharing that with Jeff is that yesterday I got to learn...
Oh, was this yesterday?
Through one of your features that you lost your dad also at an early age.
Oh, yes, I did, yeah. George, I lost my dad when I was 2 months old. 2 months. I never knew him. I never knew the man. He could walk through this door, I wouldn't know what he looked like. So at least you had those years with him, huh? You had 4 or 5 years with him, so you're fine, man.
You are.
And he's
you're
a strong
very
man,
lucky.
You're strong boy.
You're strong.
Yeah.
And you're doing so well. And that's why we want to tell other children out there that they can do well. Right, George?
Okay.
Yeah. Mummies and daddies out there with children who are deaf.
Yes.
Please, there is hope. There is help that can be gotten out there.
Yes.
We have to advocate for our children to reach their highest potential. Where Jasmine, George, Daniel, Arat, it has been that we've accepted them as our children and we've advocated. Matt, their dad, gave his all. He did.
And George is watching over you, know that? You know that, Jasmine?
And you guys are very privileged. So we are rallying for support, that there's hope. Deafness is one of the disabilities that technology has come to bridge. Something can be done. Something can be done. So with this notation that deaf and dumb, Prof, Jeff, we want to say no to it. These children can be able to lead fairly normal lives if you accept them in society. I don't know if you've heard of the restaurant in Adams that has only deaf employees.
No, I didn't. What's it called?
Sorry, I've forgotten his name.
It's in Adams, okay.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And there's a guy who's just gone all out that the waiters and the waitresses are deaf.
All deaf. Can I read this letter? Do you mind if I read it? It's an amazing letter. It was asked the other day in the school, write a letter to your loved one. This is little 8-year-old Georgie. He says, Dear Daddy, I miss you so much. I wish you can come back alive. Love, George. Oh, you're gonna make us all cry today, little George. You're gonna make us all cry today.
Georgie.
Deep.
Georgie.
My God. You guys are amazing. Okay. Final thoughts before we, and by the way, Fred Afune, if you're listening, thank you.
So, none of this is your fault, but every disability is what makes you unique, so just keep on trying because your story can make a difference like mine. No matter how hard it seems.
You can encourage your mother to write a book one day.
Yeah, I actually want to write a book.
Wow.
Go on, give me the working title of the book.
I think I want it to be called The Song of the Universe. It's about acceptance of your disabilities. For me, after I lost my dad, I struggled to accept myself, to be honest. I isolated myself, but I soon learned to accept myself. And that not everyone in this world is going to accept me, and that I am loved.
You are.
That's the most important thing.
You are.
You're a beautiful young lady who is loved.
Even though there are many people out there who don't understand me, it's okay because they don't know what they're missing out on.
Hello!
Yeah.
Wow! Goodness!
Yes.
Even though there are people out there who don't understand me.
They don't know what they're missing out.
She loves music. She plays the violin.
Oh, I was gonna ask you whether you play any instruments. So you find comfort in that? You find a lot of solace in playing the violin?
I actually enjoy playing the violin, and I really love music. It really touches my soul. I just love music. It's like the biggest gift of all that I've gotten through my hearing.
What other instrument are you gonna pick up?
I've always wanted to learn how to play the saxophone, or the trumpet. I've always dreamed to play those instruments.
My good friend Bob Collymore would have been proud of you. Him and his sax. He loved his sax. Georgie, say something, man. The little kids here this morning, little 8-year-olds. What do you say, man? What do you say?
I also play an instrument.
What do you play?
Piano.
Look at you. I couldn't even play the piano. I tried the recorder and it broke when I played it.
The guitar too.
The guitar
no matter
broke.
how
Everything
much
broke.
you blew into it.
And you are playing the piano.
Yes, I'm playing the national anthem.
Hello? Shaki, do you see how lucky you are?
I am.
You're blessed.
I am.
My God.
I've learned to see them as blessings.
But you know
I've
what?
learned to see them as blessings. He gives no blessings that add sorrow.
Oh yeah.
He gives no blessing that adds sorrow. I've embraced my children, and as I speak out to the other parents, I'm not gonna say I've not had my dark days.
Yeah.
I have. I've grieved, and I think when I lost their dad, I grieved more for the children. I asked myself, if it's so hard for me, how is it gonna be for them? But to tell the parents out there, our children are strong. They'll amaze you as to what they're able to do. Yeah. It's for you first as a parent to be strong for them.
Yes. And people out there complain about everything, Jackie. You know, you're broke on the 15th of the month. You complain, you say, God, why me? They have no idea. They have no idea. And look at you. You have pulled through layers and layers of sewage. And you come out smelling like roses.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
You're an angel.
Thank you.
With little angels around you.
Yeah.
Angels follow angels.
Next time carry the 6-year-old.
Yeah, bring him.
Daniel.
Yeah, bring him. Let him come
Acha
in.
azunguke. Akitaka kuchezea juu ya speaker.
But